Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. In this video, I am going to share with you 5 things that you must do. And if you do this, then your property will never ever be vacant. If you own one of the investment properties and you are struggling to rent it out, then this video is going to help you a lot. In fact, this one, some of the practical tips that you will find is really helpful. So let's dive into it. The first point that I like to talk about is being flexible. What do you mean by flexible? It means that you are not rigid in terms of how much rent that you are going to get. Remember, your goal is to have that property tenanted as early as possible. And the way you can do it by being flexible. It also depends on your demand and supply in that area. Consider this, you own a property in an area and where there are 10 properties are for lease. And out of 10, let's say there are 5 renters who are looking to lease. So it clearly says the demand is way too low than the supply. There are 10 supply, 5 demands. What you can do is that to attract one of those 5 people so that your property gets tenanted as early as possible. The way you can do is that maybe the rent you can reduce a little bit. That way you are not competing with the top dollar. You are not competing with others. Being flexible means sometimes adjusting your rent at your demand, providing something extra that will make sure that you pick one of those 5 people. If you buy a property where the rental demand is really high right now because of the pandemic, then of course you will get the top dollar, but not all the time it will be. Real estate market is in a cycle, and at times because of this demand and supply, you must have to reduce the rent. But if you are flexible, if you judge that market quickly and reduce your rent, your property will be tenanted as quickly as possible, compared to someone who is always trying to chase up the top dollar, are very rigid, won't want to reduce the rent, and will not understand the market, will struggle to rent it out. Let me give you an example. Let's say property A and property B, the two identical properties, each can be rented 500 per week. The owner A who owns the property A and owner B who owns the property B. Owner A decides that he wants the top dollar rent, which is 500 per week. On the other side, owner B are a bit flexible and he is going with the market and reducing the rent from 500 to the 450. As a result, owner B get the tenant within couple of weeks time. On the other side, owner A, let's say, had to wait for 3 months to get a tenant of 500 per week. Now let's do the calculation. A 3 months rental loss for 500 per week for owner A, it means 500 into 13 weeks, that is 6,500 rental loss. On the other side, the owner B, he lost only $50, assuming that's the current market. So 50 into 13, only $650. And if you take a horizon of 2 years, you will find out that owner B is far off in terms of the getting the maximum rental return as compared to owner A, because owner A already lost the 3 months of rental loss. So this is the rigid versus flexibility. You need to be flexible. If you are not, then you might end up become an owner A. Yes, you will get the $500 after 3 months, but you are actually losing the whole war, because over a period of 3 years time, your rental return will be way less as compared to the owner B if you are an owner. The second point that I talk about is creating an emotion. When you have a property, you need to find out that why your tenant is going to rent it out. So you need to create an emotion to one particular thing in the house. You don't have to create you don't have to make your house a mansion, or you don't have to make something really drastic. You need to think about what can you do to make your house really appealing for your tenant. It could be just simply the kitchen. If you just renovate the kitchen, and the kitchen would be appealing for your tenant. It could be as simple as a bathtub. I have property where because of the bathtub, one of the prospective tenant came and they said, oh wow, they like this because of the bathtub, and then they wanted to take this. So sometimes picking one thing and making sure that you are making that things really nice so that the prospective tenant looks for it from an emotional point of view. Remember, they would be staying in the house, and it is their emotion that will bring into while they are looking for the house to lease. So find out one thing that you can fix, you can make that emotional appeal, and if you bring that, your property will be tenanted as quickly as possible because you're bringing the emotion from a prospective tenant point of view. The third point that I like to talk about is the presentation of your house. Your house needs to be neat and clean. It needs to be well presented. What I mean by that is that if you show a house which everything is not fixed or is not clean, and then your agent is showing the house that, oh, this thing needs to be fixed and this will be fixed before you move in and this will be done in next 1 or 2 weeks time, guess what? As a prospective tenant, I cannot see the target property. I cannot see what is going to be looking like once this will be clean, because some of us cannot visualize how this is going to look once in the ready-made product. Hence, presenting a property in a neat and clean, fixing all these things that needs to be fixed is better, because it also comes down with a bit of emotion as well. The person who is going to, the prospective tenant, will actually look into it and say, yeah, yes, I like this, I want to take this property. On the other side, if you present the house is really ugly, it's not neat and clean, some of the things is broken, not fixed, then some of those people who wanted to, and particularly if they have a choice, they will go to the other property. They might not like your property and it is not going to be tenanted. The number 4 points is get a feedback. When the first inspection happen with your property, and after that inspection, if there are 4 or 5 prospective tenant came to inspect it, get their details, talk to these people, make sure that your agent actually talks to them and find out their feedback. What do they think? Some might say that, oh, I don't like this thing. Some might say that, oh, this is beyond my budget. So getting those feedbacks and then incorporating this feedback in your next inspection is the best way, because now you are listening to the market and ensuring that whatever needs to be fixed or whatever needs to be done as per the prospective tenant, you are providing. So the next batch, whenever it will come, or the same set of people might come in the next time, they will see that, yeah, I liked it, now I will take it. So getting this feedback is an important as well. It also comes down to what you want to do and how active investor you are. Because if you are really passive investor, if you don't want to do anything, then chances are that your property will not be tenanted quickly. On the other side, if you are active, if you really focused on listening to the market, understanding people, what do they need, and then accordingly you actually provide those things, then your property will be tenanted quickly. And the last but not the least is have a good property manager. I have seen countless of people who actually either trying to manage by themselves or who are actually finding the cheaper property manager, and then they will not do the work. During inspection, they will not come on time, they will not present the house, they will not switch on the lights and everything, and basically they will not do the work that they were supposed to do. It actually going to impact you, because every 1 week that the rent is not been paid or the property is not leased, then you are losing about 93 or 94% of the rent, and the agent is losing only 5 or 6%. So having a good property manager who understands the market, who is always constantly in touch with you to understand what can be fixed, how you can make sure that your property gets tenanted, is an important part. And I would always pay up top rate in terms of the property manager, rather than finding somebody who is really cheap, will not do the work. I want somebody who is ready to work, who is really good at what they are doing, and I want to hire those people in terms of my property manager. Having a good property manager is the chances of increasing the property tenanted quickly is much higher. If you find this video is helpful, then like this video, subscribe my channel and turn the notification bell on so you get to see more videos like this, and the YouTube algorithm will also help me to reach out to more people like you. So let's quickly recap. Number 1, be flexible, don't be rigid, listen to the market. Number 2, create an emotion, because the more emotion that you can create, that your property will be rented quickly. Number 3, present your property neat and clean, something that needs to be fixed, make sure that it is fixed and well presented. Number 4, get a feedback as quickly as possible and incorporate those feedback in the next viewing. And the last but not the least is have a good property manager, because having a good property manager, the chances will be much higher that your property gets tenanted quickly. I hope this video was really helpful. Thank you very much for listening, and I'll see you in the next time. Bye bye.